You're listening to Rodney Rogers Outdoors Radio, where we turn it upside down and look at the outside from the inside out. It's safe, it's legal, and we're having a blast. So put your shoes on, my friend, because we're going outdoors.
Good evening. Welcome to Rodney Rogers Outdoors. I'm Rodney Rogers. That's our... I like that. Partner underwater over there, Michael Colt. That is... Did you do that especially for this?
Especially for you, man.
I love it. That is the sound of us underwater. Or somebody underwater. I wish it was us. That's just trying to breathe. You know, scuba.
I don't think that'll get annoying after about 48 minutes.
No. We call that. I love it. That's awesome. That's exactly what it sounds like. That is actually a soothing sound.
We'll see.
I could go to sleep with that.
Yeah. So to preempt this show, if anybody does not want to listen to us ramble,
right,
of how incredible our weekend was this weekend, you might as well just find something else to do for a little while. Because
if you don't want to hear how far we were underwater and all the exciting stuff we did, yeah, now's the time to sign off.
The lights are a little bluer tonight. I had to go with the theme, you know.
Yeah, man, you did awesome.
I should have flown a dive flag here somewhere.
Behind our heads?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a bad idea. Sorry about my voice tonight. I got sick over the weekend. That's how we started our weekend out. And we managed to beat through the weekend anyway.
You did.
I did. You know,
persevered. And
Saturday morning, you know, our dive was Saturday morning, and Friday on the way down, I started feeling a little, exactly, the horse in your throat. And then Saturday morning when I woke up, it was just bad.
Yeah, so we went to Alamrada, Florida this weekend to get diver
certified,
scuba certification dized. And even as we were starting, we met at the dive shop 8:30 as we were starting.
Yeah.
You were
I was
on
ready.
the fence, boy,
yeah,
because you were not feeling well.
And actually, I got to thank you for that because I was, you didn't want it to be a wasted trip. So I was kind of, because when you're underwater and all these pressure factors and you're not able to clear, and there's 100 reasons why you don't dive sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's all the textbooks tell you don't do it and don't take medicines because it could wear off while you're down there. But we spoke about it. We kind of huddled as a team.
Yeah, and I think we did. First of all, that we communicated that with our dive master instructor and said, here's the situation. If it had been an all or nothing situation, I didn't think that it was. I thought, if you could, let's take it day at a time. The first couple hours we were just in the pool.
Right.
A good time to figure out, number one, can you equalize an 8 foot of water?
Exactly.
Let's start there. I mean, and you could have either gotten better as the day progressed, or you could have gone downhill real quick physically.
Yeah.
And you seemed to at least sustain.
Yeah. Once we got in the pool, I was able to pressurize even at 8 feet, because even 8 feet makes a difference.
It's amazing. You get down to 4 or 5 feet and you feel that pressure.
Yeah. And it's funny is you don't realize it when you're just swimming. But when you're in that environment where you've got to pressurize, that makes all the difference. And, of course, I had a couple other things, because I flat out lied on my app and said I didn't have any problems. And, and I had the heart attack deal.
Your mic's on, right?
I know it's on. But I couldn't get cleared from my doctor. And he did tell me I could dive. He just didn't tell me. He just wouldn't give me the paperwork. So, that was a factor for me as well. So I did fine. We didn't have to drag me back to the surface.
You actually did really good.
Yeah, so
yeah,
actually we both had a little problem.
Yeah, on the second dive.
On the second day.
I had troubles getting down past that first 10-foot mark.
Yeah.
But
once you got past it,
go back up a few feet.
That's exactly right.
Try it again, wiggle your jaw, contort your head around, and once it popped the first time, it got easier and easier as it went down. So
yeah, for me it was like that one depth. It was like that same depth, but once I got past that, poof, it was gone. I could drop the next 20 feet down and not have a problem whatsoever. So
But at the end of the day, we were certified come Sunday evening.
Come Sunday evening, we were certified. It was definitely
the weather was phenomenal.
Oh, it was
81 degrees. I think the water was 81 degrees.
Yeah. And you know what? I actually expected to feel a little different temperature at 41, 42 feet down or whatever we were. I didn't really feel a difference.
Yeah, you know, I think it was slightly.
Was it? I'm sure it was. It had to be.
But your focus isn't on that. If it had been 20 degrees difference, you would have noticed it.
Noticed it.
You know, and sometimes as you're swimming, you actually swim through those changes, those temperature lapses, and you'll feel it. But it was subtle. So obviously your mind is on 100 other things at that point. And it was subtle enough that you weren't conscious of it.
Exactly. And one of the cool things about the Keys is you were watching the sunrise, walking across the street, watching the sunset on the same ocean.
Yep.
You know, and we caught both sunrise and sunsets of both days. How awesome was that?
Yeah, it's very cool. The weather, sunrise and sunsets were beautiful, but
we posted some amazing pictures of that.
So my wife and your son went along with us.
Yes.
My wife Kim, your son Zachary.
My son Zachary went with us.
All four of us got certified, and
he was like a little fish down there. We call him Tank now because he got
wind him up and let him go, and he.
We were wondering why he kept running out of air first. I mean, once we saw him down there, we knew why he was out of air first. He was like just a little bobber at the bottom, just bouncing around and poking his hand and face in every hole he could find.
Yeah, no fear there. He was. But we saw
sharks,
lobsters.
I was going to ask you, when you saw the sharks, did you have any different feeling than any other fish that you saw? I mean, honestly.
Well, you do. I think they command a little respect.
Oh, definitely.
You know, there's something about.
Yeah.
You know, there's some. It's a bit larger size fish, and it commands some respect.
Yeah.
You know, just because of its reputation, whether it's valid or not, it's got a reputation.
Absolutely.
You know. And there's different ones. I think we were looking at nurse sharks there, and
I
think you just kind of generally realize they're a little different creature.
Yeah. And they were on the bottom, so it wasn't quite as intimidating as one just kind of cruising,
meandering around
there. But, so that was a little different. It was exciting.
I thought the blowfish was cool.
Oh, that was cool.
The instructor scooped one off the bottom and let him go, and he just kind of.
And I filmed that whole thing, and you could barely even tell what he had in his hands.
Speaking of filming, I purchased a new toy while we were down there, literally as we're getting on the the dive boat. They had it's called Water Shot, but it's a case for your iPhone.
For your iPhone.
It's not just a water protective case. This is an actual underwater camera case.
Functional.
With all the buttons and stuff.
And I'll tell you what, it was awesome.
I mean, it did phenomenal.
It was amazing. All the pictures you see of us underwater actually were done with that case and an iPhone.
Yeah, and I literally there's an app that you download because what it does is it maps the buttons on for that app to where they've placed the buttons on the housing for the camera. So basically, you can do anything through the app.
So basically, you lose the function of touchscreen
and
being able to touch through your apps.
Exactly. Okay. So everything's kind of menu and scroll. You could literally go through all the menus and change your settings underwater. But again, literally since I purchased this, as we were getting on the dive boat and downloading the app, and then plus the fact it was complicated because I was wearing my contacts, which I wasn't used to, which isn't my actual prescription.
Right.
I had a lot of things going against me. I was lucky just to get a photograph.
Right.
Because I thought I was shooting video, I was not.
You were
so
actually
I got a bunch of stills. Yeah. But you can swap back and forth between video and stills. There's a mode where the thing will go to sleep because you have to put your camera to sleep never. And that's what happened.
Right.
And I didn't know that until I read the manual. And what happened halfway down, it went to sleep on me, and I couldn't. And I was screaming underwater.
Also, you have to set that feature to never sleep.
You have to go into your settings.
I got you.
You know, you can set it to sleep for a minute or 2 minutes. You have to set it so it doesn't go to sleep. Now, the app has a sleep mode on it, so that when you're not using it, you can set the time. The app will go to sleep, but you just press one of these buttons to wake it back up, so you're not burning all your battery out while you're down there.
It's important information.
So, but anyways, I'm excited to try it again because I know a few more things about it. But this thing, it's still got the tether on it from the display model. They literally cut it off the display for me because they didn't have anyone for the 5.
Exactly.
5S. This was the last one, so
I didn't
cut
even
it off.
How did she know that was actually for the 5? I mean, she just knew it.
She tried her phone in it.
Okay.
And I thought, well, how do you know? Because maybe it fit. They're very similar.
Right.
But after getting the button configuration, the ones for the 4 and 4S does not have this particular button.
Okay.
so I knew that was the correct one indeed. But
gotcha.
So I still got the tethering on from the display model, but $130 for this one.
Well worth the money.
Well worth the money. I got a little bit of a discount because of the display model.
Now, what's the depth on that? How deep can you go?
I think it's 160 feet.
Which is awesome, which I wanted to point out, because if you have your waterproof cover around your iPhone, you're only going 6 feet.
Yeah.
And I had one, and it ruined my iPhone when I went 6 feet. You know what I mean? I'm thinking I got this underwater app wrong.
But you know what's funny, and thinking of you with your iPhone is, you know, because you slap it in there and you just go.
Yeah, you don't think about.
And our first dive, I had it in my pocket, and I actually forgot to turn it on.
Right.
So it went for the first dive along with me, which I guess tested it. But after I got home and read the manual, downloaded it, it's like how to test your unit to confirm it's waterproof. I didn't even think about that. I just slapped my iPhone in there, shut the case,
went at it.
We went down 35 feet.
Oh my God! So that could have been a disastrous.
Could have been. But testimony. But I'm excited because the photos were really good. Again, really, this was me just hacking at it as we went. Yeah. And so I'm thrilled to go back out.
Absolutely.
And give it another shot. So kudos to that. I'll give a further review next time we go. But I'm a thumbs up for the water shot.
We're actually already trying to plan our next dive.
Yeah. I am so stoked.
Yeah, me too.
Like I say, if you didn't want to listen to us ramble how awesome this weekend was, but here's your takeaway. If you're not scuba certified, if you are, you know what we're talking about and you can relate.
Right.
If you're not, take the time, take the investment, go do it. What a opening the eyes to a whole nother world.
And it's like I said, when you see the pictures on TV, you know, or you see them on a website and you see the videos, it does it absolutely no justice. I mean, once you get down there, you realize your brain kicks in and goes, how awesome is this? I mean, we're not supposed to do this.
Yeah. We
weren't designed to do this.
Yeah.
You know, and yet we're 40 feet under. The 40-foot dive to me was just, I don't think we saw as much wildlife as we did on the other dives.
Might have just been location.
Comparatively, I think we may have, you know, because we did see some different stuff. But the fact that we saw so much stuff underwater was just mesmerizing.
It's overload. It's sensory overload.
It's sensory overload.
And it takes, I mean, I can only imagine as you progress, because our last dive, how many did we do? We did 4 dives.
We did 4 dives.
So our last one, you're starting to relax a little bit more to kind of take in a few other things, and you got your buoyancy a little more under control, and so even after 4 dives, you progress rapidly into going.
Right.
And so you started going, okay. I mean, it was just plain flat out cool.
Yeah.
By that 4th dive, because you're in control a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly.
But we did everything from taking your mask completely off underwater, taking all of your gear
off 40 feet below the surface,
taking it off and putting it back on. These are basic things.
Which I thought would have been a little more intimidating, and it wasn't. Honestly, did it feel any different to you than the pool?
No. What was the worst for me was taking your gear off on top of the ocean.
On top of the surface, exactly.
Because I mean, the waves weren't crazy, but there were waves
enough to exactly
toss you around a little bit. So trying to wrestle the waves, it's much better when you go underneath than trying to keep your head above water.
Yeah, and we had a little current, which was a little hard to stay still in some places. But I added weight on the next dive, and that put that totally at ease.
Yeah.
So,
but just what an incredible way to get away with friends and family, and I mean we had it was cool. That's what I'm trying to say, Rodney.
And you got it out.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of you.
Thank you. It wasn't easy.
I could see that. So it was. I think one of the things that I mean, to me, I thought there would be a different world at 40 or even 20 feet. The pressure, and I honestly I didn't feel any pressure difference. You know, trying to breathe.
Yeah.
I thought all that pressure, but once you equalize and stabilize.
One of the toughest things was when you saw something cool, trying to get somebody else's attention to share with them what you're seeing.
And that's the importance of the tank tap.
Yeah, you need a dive knife or something, a rock or something to tap on your tank, because you can hear that piercing. It's like not tapping a quarter on your window. It goes.
We just went dead. Did we lose everything?
go away.
Hang in there.
Yep. Stay with us.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live still, but don't go anywhere because I'm going to save this thing.
So did our equipment go to sleep?
Nope. Stay with us.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
You do sign language to the...
Oh, yeah.
We have a viewer.
I'm glad you know all that technical stuff. Now, did the mic go default to the Mac?
I think our card filled up.
Perfect time to go to commercial break. We had one of those.
Yeah. I wish we did. You can listen to this. Hear that? No, they can't hear me.
No, they can't hear nothing.
It's all stopped.
Hello, hello.
You're listening to Rodney Rogers Outdoors Radio, where we turn it upside down and look at the outside from the inside out. It's safe, it's legal, and we're having a blast. So put your shoes on, my friend, because we're going outdoors.
And we're back. Did our mic go default to your... Are we good? That was weird.
Well, we're working our way through just about any kind of technical difficulty we could have over the course of doing these things. So
this is episode, what are we on? 29?
30.
30. This is episode 30.
Sounds like you're underwater. What'd you do this weekend? I think you got scuba certified, right?
Okay,
everybody's caught up now. Here we go.
So we're scuba certified. We're back at it.
Sorry about that, awesome, folks.
That kind of went.
We'll fix it. They'll never know in post.
Never even know it.
iTunes will never know the difference. So, anyways, what a phenomenal time. But yeah, what I was saying is the toughest part is getting somebody's. Make sure it's still rolling. Yeah. Getting somebody's attention, because I had swam over, looked back under some rocks, and a huge sea turtle sitting there.
Right.
And of course, I was swimming with my wife, basically holding her hands. We were holding hands the whole time because we're romantic like that.
Oh.
Yeah. And so I showed her, and then, but you and Zach were up ahead, and I'm literally going, sound like this. So, but
which doesn't transfer well underwater.
Can't hear a thing.
None of this, you know.
So at some point, that turtle swam out and headed toward the surface.
Right.
Probably get some air or whatever. They're mammals, right?
Yeah. No, they're reptiles.
Do they need air?
Yes.
Okay, so that's where he was going. So anyways, that instructor turned around and saw us looking up, and he saw what we were looking at. So he turned back around, and I think that's when you guys turned back around, and then we all were able to.
And that's where we all saw the turtle.
And we all rode the turtle for about a half hour.
Turtle riding is fun.
Actually, we did not. But...
We call that the turtle rodeo.
But
actually, I was a little. As a matter of fact, one of the other instructors, I don't know if you heard him, but they saw the turtle as well, and I guess the turtle, when we saw him, he came back down, went back under the rock, came back out again, and snuggled under the.
That's what he's saying, yeah.
He kind of snuggled up to the other instructor, which he thought was awesome. And he's been down there a million times. The first time it's ever happened to him.
It'd be very cool.
I wish we could have saw that.
The other thing is we stopped at a dive site that's not one of their normal dives. That's
keyhole. They called it the keyhole.
They named it when we stopped because it looked like a keyhole. But
we were the first.
Supposedly, I mean, obviously other people probably stopped there, but not one of their sites on their map or their radar. They said, hey, this looks cool, and kind of talked to the Captain Sarah. By the way, Islamorada Dive Center.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's hit them up.
Holy smokes!
What
an incredible time! Every one of them, friendly, welcoming, helpful, knowledgeable.
Oh yeah, patient.
Patient.
Because I think that's when you're diving. How awesome is it just to be patient? Because I was having problems.
Yeah.
Your wife was having problems. I mean, and he was just super.
Our dive master's name was Patrick. I would go back down there. I mean, I would just request him again. And again, I'm sure they're all equally awesome, but we just totally were spoiled by having Patrick out that first time because we couldn't have been, the fit couldn't have been better.
Exactly.
I mean, truly 5 stars.
And you know, when you go into a dive center like that, and you're really not sure how it's going to go, and you're afraid you're holding things up, and it kind of builds up, you know, this anxiety. And when I saw how patient he was with me when I couldn't equalize, which I kind of figured was going to have, he just waited at the bottom, you know, and just kind of crossed his arms and
it was
just told me to take my time, and sure enough, it equalized, and you know, he gave me the okay signal, and plow, we were gone.
Their boats seemed first rate and all together, and the captain, I mean, it was Scott the first day and Sarah the second day, and but it made it so enjoyable.
You know what I kind of liked about the whole operation was the very matter of fact of things. Their signals are very matter of fact. You know, you're on the boat, it's very matter of fact. There's no guessing. There's no, you know, they take the questions out of it. It's enjoyable.
Absolutely. You know what I thought I was really impressed with is exactly that, but they did it in a way that wasn't
offensive.
Offensive. You knew that everything was under control. This is how it's going to be done. This is how, you know, the procedures. But it was with a smile. It was with a friendly approach. It wasn't. It was very welcoming. It wasn't. You know, I've met some captains on other, you know, fishing ships and stuff that are very scary.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, but because it is serious business when it gets down. I mean, safety obviously is the utmost concern. But it was just handled so well, like you say, matter of factly, but in such a comforting and professional way. It was really enjoyable.
Another thing, I mean, they did roll call before they left the dock. They did roll call when they got to the water. They did roll call when everybody was supposedly out of the water.
Yep.
And then when we got to the next site. So they want to make sure that everybody's on that boat. Nobody's left behind down at the bottom of the ocean. And if something went wrong, you know, there was a guide per set amount of people.
Yeah, they said they always from their dive site always do one guide for every 6 people.
Okay. I didn't know what the ratio was. Okay,
so
right on.
I think that's phenomenal.
Absolutely. And you could spearfish off the boat.
Yep. Some people were spearfishing. They were spearfishing. Their guns.
So we were mixed in a group of, and you know one thing, I mean, obviously, so we talk about dive. And this is something that even the people watching or listening may not know. You do not have to be certified to go diving. I mean, you could actually do a class there, the explorers that they had.
Yeah.
I mean, they basically got in a pool and did like a 1-hour class, and they were able to go offshore and dive. You know, you're not a certified diver, and there's certain things you can and cannot do, but for that one day, for that short amount of time, you can dive. How cool was that?
So if you're vacationing in the Keys or probably anywhere there's PADI locations, you know, you can get in the water and actually scuba dive.
That's exactly right.
Without going through the hole.
I thought that was awesome, you know, because that would, you know, because I know I looked back and it was September of last year when you and I went to that boat show and you talked me into getting into that dive gear. To me, that was it. Once I was in that, you and I talked, I said, well, I'm going to get certified diver. Yeah. You know, this is, what have I been waiting on? And then, poof, here we are, not quite a year later, 8 months. Is that about right? You know, we're certified. So it's a great time that if you're on the fence of getting certified, that's perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, that's absolutely perfect. You can do that. You can pay just for a half a day, one dive, and get down there at 25 feet. I think that's the maximum they could go was 25 feet. And pal, you'll know right then if you want to be a diver or not.
So, after your initial open water certification, and now there's all kinds of certifications that PADI offers. Let's talk about some of those because next thing you do is you immediately start thinking, what's next?
What can I do next? Exactly.
What's next? And there's all kinds of things that immediately you can take. Certain certifications require so many dives and have some prerequisites before you can start, but there are some that you can immediately start taking.
Because right now we're open water certified up to 60 feet.
Yep.
I would like to be advanced open water.
The next one I want to do is so you can go deeper.
Yeah, exactly.
Because 60, 70, 80, 90 feet dives are very common, even in the West Palm, even in our local dive areas.
Exactly, and I think that would probably be the next. Well, I know what my next one is for sure because we'll get into that in a second.
Yep.
When we met Eric, but the open water, I think that deeper. Not that I necessarily would go that deep. 130 feet is the max on a recreational dive.
Right.
Open water is that the one that goes up to 130?
Yeah, no, I think it's open water.
Yeah. The advanced open water. I'm sorry.
Yes, I think it's down to 130.
I'm not so sure I would do that. I mean, that's a little scary, but.
Well, like I say, I've been to 90 and 95 before.
Right.
And you don't want to limit yourself if I'm taking a trip to Thailand in July. I don't want to be so that one. The coolest dive is at 85 feet.
And you're 60 feet. You're 25 feet above everything going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right.
So I think having that. I mean, again, the difference our first dive was 25 feet ish.
Yeah.
Our second was 40 feet. So it's only 15 feet difference. Makes a difference because now you're required to do a safety stop at the end of the dive.
Exactly.
But the dive experience itself, you didn't feel
right.
As long as you're equalizing as you're going down,
you don't really know.
It's really the same thing. 90 feet down, you're going to continue to equalize.
Absolutely.
The scenery changes, the lighting changes.
Absolutely.
Should go down, but you're going to want to do it sooner than you think you will, to be able to go down further.
And there's it's a whole world of color. I mean, color changes at different depths. I mean, certain colors get lost.
Yeah.
They just dissipate because everything's a freak. I mean, there's so much to learn.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just mind-boggling.
But what else? There's search and rescue. There's a navigation, night diving.
Night diving, yeah. I definitely want to do the night diving.
Yeah,
I know that's going to be one in my
cave
future.
diving.
I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about cave. I mean,
yeah,
I can see the adventure of it. I think there's enough adventure out there for me without
a hole. Without being in a hole. I can find adventure without being in a cave. I think so.
But, yeah, there's definitely things. And then, of course, the one that you're hounding to dive into is...
I think our next one, because we're going to work a deal on this, is at the Islamorada Dive Center.
Deal or no deal.
Hey.
Right?
Towards it. The deal or no deal. So we met Eric, the owner. Amazing guy.
Yeah.
Super amazing guy. Not the cocky owner you would think in your mind. Super awesome guy. And we're going to trade an alligator hunt for...
Well, this might not be public chit-chat, right? I mean, this might be...
So what we're going to do is... our next certification...
Yeah, deal or no deal. What we're going to do is
exactly.
Going to go
get... Okay. We're going to go down and take... Now, he wrote the PADI class on underwater hunting. It's called the hunting certification.
Huge point of note right there.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot get this anywhere in the are but there.
He is the man.
Yeah. So the official BA, So Lee, how are you? So he wrote that class, and we're going to take that class. So I have worked a deal. How about that?
I think this is phenomenal.
And we're going to take 6 people down. And
again, deal or no deal, you're going to take the class with Eric.
We're taking the class with Eric, deal or no deal. Absolutely.
The deal has nothing to do with it, right?
No, the deal does not. The deal just sweetens it.
The deal is not done, first of all.
No, first of all, it's not done.
This was a conversation. I hate to keep it real.
No, that's fine.
Deal or no deal.
But that's our intention is to go down. We're going to get our own boat, deal or no deal.
That's right. Well, I think definitely we know we're going to go back to Islamorada Dive Center and take this hunting course from Eric.
Yes.
Because that's what Pachter said. If you can get Eric on board to do the class, you got no options. That's
Absolutely.
What you want to do.
Absolutely.
So if we can get Eric to take us out, no matter what the parameters are, whether it's on that sweet boat he was talking about, or if it's on a canoe, 6-person canoe, we're going to go.
So we're definitely going to get offshore and take his hunter course. And he wrote the course for PADI. He's the only one that can offer it. It's the only dive shop in the world right now that even has that class. So I think it'd be awesome to have that certification.
I was telling Kim driving back, we are incredibly fortunate to live. I mean, a 5-hour drive from Islamorada, Florida.
Oh, I know.
I mean, people plan their vacations, and save for the year to go to Islamorada, Florida. We can jump in the car and be there by noon.
Exactly.
I mean, I think we're so blessed to be able to just drive down to some place.
And I think even you
caliber.
and I were talking about it on the way back. You mentioning, that caliber of an amazing place, how amazing Florida is. And this is why I love the state of Florida. I mean, we can go on vacation for the next 5 years in the state of Florida, never leave, and post these amazing pictures that people all over the world would love to be a part of.
Well, the fact of the matter is we'd love them to be
Charles,
a part
how are you, buddy?
Hey, Charles.
Sorry about that.
Rodney's got these imaginary friends. I walk by and he's like, "Hey, Lee, how you doing?" Charles, what up?
So we got all these, we're actually, like I said, we're 2 live locations, and people are popping up questions right here and saying hello to us. So
have you got any questions?
So we're hitting them at the same time. So there again, we're diving. We did see sharks, so I'm going to touch a little bit about what happened this weekend. We had met one of my long life friends, my buddy Timmy, who we've been friends since the 3rd grade. 40 years, 38, 39, 40 years. So he actually saw on Facebook that we were in Islamorada. Now, he was in Key West at the time, and he texted me and said, "Hey, man, you're here. We'll be in." He gave me the address of where he's going to be, and he was actually 6 miles away from us. So we had dinner with him. We met some of his friends.
He was up in Key Largo, just north of Islamorada.
Exactly. It was, exactly. Just a little bit north of us. And so we had dinner with him. We met his friend Brent. Well, the next day we go on a dive boat, and when we were headed out on the dive boat, there's this little island there.
Sandbar.
Sandbar. That's the word I look for. Sandbar, and all the boats park on. Crystal clear water, enjoyable.
That's literally up to your knees. I mean, it's probably what. Is it a mile offshore?
If that.
Half a mile offshore?
It's got to be a half a mile offshore.
But it's a sandbar with boat Memorial Day. It's just lined with. But it's
lined
up to your knees.
Boats.
Dogs are jumping in the water. People have their dogs out there.
It's just an amazing place.
Lawn chairs just chilling.
So he backs up, grabs the camera, backs up to take a picture of the group, and felt something on his leg. And he was, from what Timmy was telling me, I haven't spoke to Brent yet. From what Tim was telling me, he just kind of went, "Oh man!" It just hit him that fast, and they never saw what happened. Nobody ever saw a shark, not even once. And as he pulled out of the water, he had a bite on him almost 7 inches wide. So if you picture 7 inches, which is about that, and you put that in relation to a shark, that's a pretty big shark.
That is a pretty. I mean, it wrapped around his ankle pretty good.
Yeah,
he got his mouth around his ankle.
He got 19 stitches on that shark bite in 1.5 feet of water, and nobody even saw a shark. How crazy is that?
Maybe it was just a beer can he stepped on.
A biting beer can? The big BB's, a biting beer can? He could have stepped on a beer can. So, I mean, let's put that in relation. Let's turn that to so I'm going to picture that maybe a 5-foot shark, would you say? I mean, if you had
I would guess that's probably about in the neighborhood.
Yeah, 4 or 5 foot shark. I mean, I've caught some 4-foot sharks that.
I don't know. I'm looking at the photo now, and if you go to the Rodney Rogers Facebook page, you posted that photo of him.
Yeah, I posted
post surgery. That's a
pretty big bite.
That's a pretty big bite.
Yeah, I mean it got him really good, in the blink of an eye, and to turn around and look and see what got him, and there's nothing there. It's kind of like a ghost. I mean, it was obviously it's an exploratory bite. It just hit him in a second. I was hoping to have him on the air tonight.
He's doing fine, right?
Yeah, he's doing
First
great.
Of all, I mean,
he sent me a picture.
Oh, he did.
He caught a shark.
No.
I swear. And he bit it on the tail.
Good job, Brent. Rightfully so.
He's got a picture of a shark and him biting it on the tail saying, "I'm getting you back."
Are you serious?
I swear to God.
Oh, Brent, let us post that on our Facebook page.
So, yeah, we'll post that on our Facebook page. So
that's absolutely hilarious.
It's about a 5-foot shark, and he's. So
that is absolutely hilarious.
I thought that was awesome. So I guess he's doing pretty good. I mean, obviously it's going to keep him out of the water for his duration in the Keys, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
But
well, what's amazing is how many. I mean, even that day, how many people were on that sandbar?
Yeah,
But last weekend was Memorial Day weekend. You're talking hundreds and hundreds of people on that sandbar.
And then pow.
Of course, I mean, we don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, he might not have been the only one who got bit by a shark in the last week.
That's true. That's true.
Right? I mean,
exactly. I mean,
it's not like he made the news, or
like
did he?
It's like you said, he's in the history books now.
Yeah, he's a statistic.
Yeah, he's just because every shark bite goes into a file.
And he's got one up on you, Rodney Rogers.
He does. You know what? And I even said, I'm so jealous.
He's part of a club. You are not.
I'm not in the shark
you
bite
be
club.
Part of that club.
I'm in the gator bite club. I want to be in the shark bite club. How cool is that? So yeah, so that's actually he's good spirited about it. It happened. He's fine. Nothing. They didn't do any big damage to his tendons or. It was an exploratory bite. You can see where his skin just kind of peeled back. So.
Oh yeah, because that's the other photo that he sent us is with the skin peeled back.
Right, and I didn't obviously I didn't put that on our Facebook because that was kind of
a little gruesome.
But
the before and after shot, yeah.
So that was literally. As a matter of fact, he butt dialed me during the chaos.
Oh really?
Because I answered the phone and I get a call from him and I hear them all screaming and yelling and I thought they were just having a party. And it was the exact same time that they got. So I got the butt dial.
That's funny. Well, I would love to have see that picture of him biting the sweet revenge.
We'll post that. We'll get it on there as well. He won't mind at all.
I have a feeling he didn't do as much damage to the shark though.
No, sharks are pretty tough. So it was. So I just thought that was. I mean, and the odds of somebody we knew.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, the odds of getting bit by a shark.
Yeah, because you got the call driving back.
Yeah.
When Tim called you and said,
exactly.
Hey, guess what?
And then he texted me and said.
And we were just with him the night before. We just had dinner with him the night before.
And I thought when he texted me the picture, I thought he was messing around. He goes, "Hey, shark bite, no joke." And I thought, man, he got bit by a shark. And then he told me it was Brent. So I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
It is crazy.
Because Brent had his 2 little kids there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing. The children in the water. I mean, again, this is a family affair out there on that sandbar. It's all kids of all ages and elderly.
I mean, his daughter's 3 or 4. Obviously, she was very young. The son was even younger.
But a bite like that would have had a different.
Oh yeah,
effect on a child.
It would have took up probably half her leg. So that's a bit crazy. So that was a bit exciting. So we got through the dive weekend.
Did I say it was an incredible weekend? Because it was.
You did. The hotel we stayed in was awesome.
It was cool. That's what I was trying to say before. We stayed on it's not a compound, but the hotel is right there next to the dive shop, which is right next to two restaurants, a couple bars right in there.
So we didn't have to leave for anything.
We didn't have to leave. I mean, there's great beaches. There's a heated pool there. We went out after our dive on the first, or actually after Sunday night. I actually fell asleep out on the lawn chair out there on that beach
that's right.
area
That's right.
Until it started raining.
That was actually the only time I got to walk around. Because Saturday I felt so bad, I just went to bed.
But I mean, it's set up really nice. The room was nice. We were come and gone, and we left a time or two, but we wouldn't have had to if we didn't want to.
Right. Right.
But Islamorada, Florida, and Islamorada Dive Center. Thank you for just a
absolutely
phenomenal experience.
Amazing day.
The only thing that could have been better is if you were feeling a little more on top of the weather.
Yeah.
That'd have been the only thing that I would have wished for differently. But other than that, enjoyed hanging out with you.
Even though I was sick, I don't think we missed a whole lot.
Well, you persevered. I mean, you pressed on, and you didn't let it slow you down. But again,
it would have been a little better.
Yeah, it would have been better for you. I mean, obviously. I got a question. I know we got to wrap up soon here, but I was noticed on the MyFWC website.
Yes.
One of the feature articles or videos says license-free saltwater fishing.
June 7th.
This
coming
Saturday
weekend.
And Sunday.
Yes, this coming weekend.
What's the details on that?
Basically, what it is you can go fishing in the saltwater this weekend in the state of Florida without having to get a fishing license. This is basically an introduction.
Okay.
So if you're offshore,
so from a boat too. I mean,
from a boat too. Yeah, anywhere in the state of Florida from a boat. Because remember, you only have to have it from shore, and it's free. Your shore license is free. They just want to know somebody's fishing.
Right.
They're just trying to keep a tally to see how many people's fishing.
So you can take a boat out this weekend and catch saltwater fish.
Absolutely.
All you can eat. Catch all you can.
All you can.
You can fill your boat with fish.
It depends.
Obviously, probably not.
Yeah,
right?
you still got to stay within your
limits.
limits.
Still apply, right?
Yeah, limits still apply, but you can catch your limits. If you're catching a fish that has to have a tag, like a snook tag or a billfish tag or something like that, you still have to have that tag. But
see, we need to talk about that sometime. I didn't realize that existed.
Yeah. So they have 2 saltwater days, 2 saltwater weekends a year, and 2 freshwater weekends a year. This is the first saltwater weekend this year. So yeah, you can get in a boat. I mean, if you got a kayak, you got a canoe, go hit the flats.
That's cool.
Give it a shot. You don't need a fishing license. So just basically check your regs or where you're at, regulations, and make sure you're within the slot limits and all that good stuff. That's pretty important. You don't want to be out of the slot limits.
So it's a great weekend to go.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, if you have a Facebook and you get on my FWC's Facebook website, they post this cool thing every week, their case of the week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. Every week they have a case where they either caught somebody,
Really? Let's do that next week. Let's highlight that.
Yeah, and last week,
interesting.
This guy grabs a turtle out of the water, throws it in the back of his truck. Somebody saw him and said, hey, well, that's illegal. Dude didn't even listen to him. He called the Game and Freshwater Fish Commission. They showed up in time, caught the guy, released the turtle because he was going to eat this turtle.
Really?
Yeah, and released the turtle and, of course, charged him with a misdemeanor, whatever crime that is. They tell you what the crime it is, and then they tell you the law to it. If you catch a fish that's undersized, they tell you that you're only allowed this many fish under this limit. I mean, a couple of weeks ago they caught this guy with like 30 fish when you're only allowed 1, and all of them were undersized. That's a hefty fine. That puts you from the misdemeanor category, back into the felony. So these are big deals.
Wow.
They definitely.
Well, I just liked it. I just went to my Facebook page and liked the my FWC thing. So
yeah, I mean, and even if you're out of the country or out of state and you're coming to Florida and you're planning on fishing or whatever, this will give you, the Facebook will definitely hook you up to what's happening now. That's how I found out about the free day. Popped up on the Facebook.
That's very cool.
Right away.
Well, they now have 45,282 likes. Thanks to me.
Nice.
They're getting up there in the Rodney Rogers numbers.
Oh, they're way up there now. Yeah. We're like in the 40s.
So speaking of which, yeah, make sure to go to the Rodney Rogers Outdoors Facebook page and like it.
Like it.
Like it. Tell your friends to like it.
Like it a lot. And we've got some things coming up that we're not going to talk about yet.
We do. I gotta pull the reins on you on your promotional but we got some good stuff coming up.
We got some logistics to figure out on this one.
Yes.
And we got to do this pretty quick. So hopefully Mike and I can get together this week, and by next Tuesday we have some kind of plan on what we're going to do for next week. I think it's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
You came up with it going down the Keys, and I'll shut up about that.
Good. Well, man, what a weekend, what a week. Good time chatting about it tonight. Sorry, folks, but again, if you're scuba certified, you know what we're talking about. If you're not, you need to get.
And speaking of which, if you're local and you're scuba certified, let us know. And and we can try to put a group together and we can do a scuba thing.
Not only that, but if you're in the, I would love to hear locations.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, we're going, okay, where can we go next? Where can, I know West Palm's drift diving and there's all these different areas.
Absolutely.
I'd love to get your feedback on some, hey, check this place out, or here's a cool whatever.
We're not afraid to admit we're rookies. Look us up.
That's totally.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not our expertise. We're just coming out of the gate with this thing, so
and we're excited.
But again, it's outdoors. It's our playground. The outdoors are our playground. We just found another playground to play in. So
that's it.
It's been a blast.
We're getting outdoors. And as my mom always said 1,000,000 times, and I'll say it 1,000, you kids get outside and stay.